รายการต่อไปนี้เป็นรายการทั่วไปสามารถรับชมได้ทุกวัย
Dear lovely fans, this is the 4th season of the show and we still believe that all forms of English are valid. Once you can get your point across, you have communicated with success. We are positive that millions of Thais have learnt a lot from our remarkable guests. They all have different levels of English and have shown us that it's the courage to give it a go that matters and it's okay to make mistakes. This show is like a big classroom. We don't want to leave anyone behind. English will therefore be dominant, but there will be some Thai in every episode to make new learners of English feel at ease. We always love to hear your constructive criticism to help us improve, but no internet trolling, please. Thanks for your endless support. It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi guys สวัสดีคุณผู้ชมทั่วประเทศนะคะ You are watching Loukgolf English Room where you live, laugh and learn Good morning everyone Today's guest is a remarkable young man who is widely known in the world of politics อยากคุยมานานที่สุด Please welcome น้องไอติมค่ะ Hi
สวัสดีครับ
Can I give you a hug Can I give you a hug? Hi. Are we being too happy to?
No, this is great. I've been to way too many serious interviews. This is great.
And you look, formal today.
Yeah, I did ask if I should wear a suit or not, but
Okay.
I thought I would replicate your style.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. And
Thank you for your time.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
Okay. So before we talk about politics,
Yep.
What do we have to talk about politics today?
I'm not sure. Up to you. You're sure.
You want to talk about politics? Convince me. Why do I have to talk about politics today?
I think.
Convince me.
I think politics is something that everyone should at least pay attention to, because at the end of the day, if we don't pay attention to it, it's gonna play us, and we're not gonna get the changes that we want to see.
Okay, let's talk about politics then. No. But before we talk about politics,
Yeah.
I want to talk about what I did this morning.
Okay.
Okay. I Googled you.
Okay.
Well, I love Googling people. You know, Google never ceases to surprise me.
Yes.
And this is what I found. People are so curious, don't you think? ไอติมผลิตสูง So how tall are you?
I'm 173 centimeters.
Okay, next one. ไอติมผลิตลูกใคร So who are your parents?
My parents are both doctors.
Yes.
So I'm in a family of doctors. So my grandparents. Actually, my mom's initial surname actually means something to do with being a doctor. So
Okay.
there was a bit of pressure on me.
Okay. So they're doctors.
Yes, they're doctors.
Okay. ไอติมผลิตพี่ชาย So you have a brother.
Yes. I have an older brother, 2 years older. He's currently a consultant. So not at all interested in politics.
Okay. Well, now you know. Are they doing good?
Yes, they're doing well.
They're happy?
I'm not sure how happy they are with their younger son. But
Okay.
They're happy.
Okay. No. Before we talk about politics, eventually we have to talk about politics because you're here, right? We can't avoid the topic. Okay. I want to talk about your first encounter with foreigners. You once said that your parents sent you abroad when you were around 9.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes, so I was still studying in a Thai school, so Satit Chula. Then during the summer vacation, my parents decided to send me to an English school because the terms kind of didn't coincide with each other, which meant that during kind of the Thai summer holiday, it was actually term time in the UK. So they sent me to an actual like proper school. It wasn't like an English summer school. It was like a proper English school. And back then, I probably had about 1 year of English in me.
So your English was...
It was like, hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you, and you.
Was it petrifying? Like, what was it petrifying?
It was very scary. I think more so because I didn't understand what was going on. But I remember that it really forced me to have to learn English. I think that was probably like a very effective but brutal way of learning English. Because
okay.
if I didn't speak any English, then there's like no way I can even make friends. There's no way I can order food. It was very, very, very difficult.
Okay. I want you to choose 3 English words to describe that boy.
That boy, confused,
Confused สับสน
homesick. I was very homesick.
Homesick.
And back then I thought I would never want to study abroad again.
No?
That's what I thought. And probably a bit lonely. I think being in a world where you can't communicate with other people is a lonely world. It's a lonely world. Then I came back, and then I went to an international school because I think that was when my parents decided that actually they wanted me to pick up English. So I went to an international school, and I was actually planning to be there right until the end of secondary. But the headmaster of that English school in the UK kind of brainwashed my parents a little bit, saying that if your boy studied at our school, maybe he would have a chance to get a scholarship to go to one of the UK's kind of secondary schools. So even though I didn't stay at that school and I came back to Thailand, my parents still had that idea in mind. So kind of 3 years after I was at this international school, they said, why don't you try and go and take the scholarship to the school called Eton College.
Yeah.
So I flew over because to apply for a scholarship, you have to take a week-long exam at the school. So I flew over, and I remember the weirdest thing was I was the only one in shorts because everyone that came to take an exam, I think about 200 people, had to wear their school uniform. And obviously people from the UK had trousers as their school uniform, but my school uniform was a pair of shorts. So I was the only one like in freezing cold weather in a pair of shorts taking the exam. And then managed to fluke my way into that. And so that's why I decided to leave my school in Thailand.
Okay. Choose 3 English words to describe that boy with the shorts.
Oh, okay. Still confused. I think different just because like everyone else in that exam hall, those 200 people were all kind of UK educated. They learned subjects like Latin and Greek. They could speak French. Like I could barely speak English. They could speak French. So I think different. Still confused, different. But I think I was becoming a bit more independent. So I remember in my first year after I got in, I thought I was going to be really homesick because I thought to myself, I've been through this before, right? Flying over to the UK, kind of being alone, not really able to communicate properly. So I thought I would be really homesick. But I actually really enjoyed being far from home. It was almost like you could do whatever you want. You can control your own timetable. You can control your own kind of what you do.
You can be free.
You can be free, exactly. And freedom is
You can
refreshing.
enjoy so much freedom.
Yes. So it was a blessing in disguise. I was actually very nervous about leaving because I had just made like a lot of friends at my school, right? So I was a bit nervous about leaving.
Okay. And then you went to Oxford.
Yes. So then I applied to Oxford, studying philosophy, politics, and economics. It's a bit of a mouthful when they ask kind of what did you study at university, and you have to give kind of 3 subjects. But that was always the course that kind of got my interest quite early on. I think when I was studying in the equivalent of Moha, where you have to really choose your specialty subjects, I became super interested in economics and politics. And the reason for that, I think, was this book called The Undercover Economist, written by Tim Harford. Because when you hear the word economics as a child, you think about like interest rates, like central bank, all these words that you have no idea what they mean. Inflation, like, I don't know what that means, right, back then.
Stagnation I don't know อะไรก็ไม่รู้ว่าภาวะถดถอย recession
Yes.
อะไรรู้แค่ไม่กี่คำด้วย demand supply จบแล้วนะ
Yes. So it was all very confusing. But then I came across this book called The Undercover Economist, where they try to explain really difficult economic concepts in easy terms. I remember one story that stuck with me was they tried to fit an economic theory to explain why coffee shops like Starbucks always sold their coffee in 3 sizes. So it's never like small, large. It's never like extra small, large, extra large. It's always small, medium, large. Why is that, right? So that was an interesting way to kind of gauge my interest in economics.
Okay. Now choose 5 English words.
5, okay.
Okay, to describe that student at
That
Oxford.
student. I was curious. So always asking question of why.
So not confused anymore.
Not confused. I think it was more curious.
Curious.
I would say homebound. That might seem a bit odd, but it basically meant that I knew at the end of the day that I wanted to come back to Thailand. which was not the case with every international student there. Some people went to study abroad and they realized that actually they really enjoy being in the UK. They don't want to come back.
You didn't want to settle down in the UK.
No, I always felt that Thailand was my home. I always felt a bit out of place. So in that sense, my third word is probably still different. I felt like I was still a little bit different to the rest. So how many are we on? We're on 3, right?
2 more.
Curious, homebound, different, mature.
Mature.
Yeah, and for me, I felt that what I mean by maturity is the ability to kind of look after yourself, which means that you kind of look after your own finances. You kind of plan your own kind of spending. I know exactly how much money I can spend each month. I plan accordingly. If I plan it badly, in the later days of the month, I have to kind of starve myself a little bit,
Okay.
or at least kind of rely on microwave hot meals. And I think, so I think mature is the fourth one. Number 5.
Last one.
Last one. I don't know if this is a word, but like self-discovery. So I think maybe that's not an adjective, but self-discovery is a noun, right? But I felt that I knew myself a little bit more about what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Because I had already started exploring many different potential career paths by doing all these various kind of internships. So I felt I knew kind of roughly what I would enjoy doing after I graduated.
Okay. Now choose one word to describe yourself right now. It can be an adjective, it can be an adverb, it can be a noun, you know?
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yes. And I was thinking of the phrase "a new dawn,"
Ah.
right? Because it's like I'm kind of entering a new phase in my life. I've undergone quite a few kind of career path switches. I had 6 months as a soldier, although that wasn't too much of a choice.
Okay.
I was in the private sector management consulting for 2.5 years. I was kind of in politics for 1 year. So right now, I think a new dawn for me.
It's a new dawn.
Yes, a new dawn.
Okay. All right.
And normally it comes after you've had like a very dark night, right? So I think that's probably very fitting.
Okay. You happy with your new dawn?
Yes, excited about my new dawn.
Okay. We have to go for a quick break now เดี๋ยวช่วงหน้านะคะเราจะกลับมาคุยกับทุกมิตินะคะของน้องไอติม Don't change the channel yeah All right, we're back. Yeah. You've been busy.
Yep.
Right. You've been like doing many things.
Yes.
The question is, what are you up to these days?
Yeah, so I think I've just managed to settle down. I think right now, going ahead, I basically have kind of 2 main things that I'm doing. The main thing, which I would say take about 80% of my time, is I'm doing a new startup in edtech actually, so education technology. So basically, education has been an area of kind of policy that I really wanted to address, and I felt that at the moment Thai kids are not having an equal access to high quality education. You see a lot of Thai children spending hours in schools, only to realize that when you do international rankings between countries, Thailand is very much lower down the table. So something's not right, and I think you can sense that from the fact that a lot of kids are relying on extra tuition classes.
Yes.
With private tutors or that certain kind
Yes.
of teaching institutes. So you feel that there is a role for technology to play here to kind of democratize access to education.
Okay.
So that's what 80% of my time is devoted
Okay.
to. 20% of my time is still kind of, I would say, political work. So I'm currently without any party. So I resigned from my party membership with the Democrats after their decision to join the government. So I'm without a party. But we're still kind of forming a political group of kind of like-minded individuals from across different areas of background, from startup world to business to NGO to civil service, just to update ourselves and do, I would say, a lot of work on our thinking in terms of what are the key issues in Thailand, what are our potential policy proposals if we were to get a chance to do politics again, and if there's anything we can push straight away, for example, on things like the constitution, on things like the upcoming Bangkok mayor election, we might choose to do so.
Okay. I like to say something actually because, well, according to what you just said, for all the teachers watching this episode, like right now, I want to convince you to try not to spoon feed your students. What I have learned from teaching, at my school, is that most Thai students are never encouraged to ask questions. You know, they are never encouraged to think. Because we love spoon feeding, you know, we love to spoon feed them. Do you know what I mean? คือกี่ปีผ่านไปอ่ะเด็กก็ยังต้องเรียนเหมือนเดิมว่าให้เติมคำเช่นแบบตั้งใจเรียนจะได้มีอนาคาบต่อไปเป็นวิชาวิทยาคือ this has to stop. It's really sad to see the students wanting to ask so many questions, but they don't do that.
Yeah. The way education system works can tell you a lot about a country. So if you go to a foreign country and you want to find out how their society is structured, you go and look inside the classroom. How the layout of the classroom looks normally determines what system is being used to govern the country. If you go to a very kind of fully democratic country, you realize that there might be a teacher sitting in the center, might be surrounded by chairs of students. If you go to countries like, I presume North Korea, or countries that are less democratic, you normally have a teacher on a raised platform, speaking down towards students. And if a student puts their hand up to ask a question, it's seen as being kind of provocative, or in Thai say ก้าวร้าว right? So I think you can tell a lot about what a country is like from the education.
Describe my classroom. Because you're good at
classroom.
this. No, not this classroom. My classroom, my actual classroom.
Okay. See? So the teachers at the center surrounded by students, right? And I think this actually looks very similar to the UK Parliament, which meant that it encouraged people to speak their opinions, it encouraged people to exchange viewpoints, because the students are facing each other. So it's not just they're facing the teacher, right? They're facing each other as well. So it's peer-to-peer learning as well. This is great. I encourage this. And I'm not just saying this, right? I said this before I saw this as well.
See? And this is my classroom. No, can we quickly talk about your book?
Yes, sure.
Why so democracy?
Yes, I'm sorry about that, by the way, because I know in English it's not grammatically correct.
Yes,
and I had this problem.
No. Okay. It's not grammatically correct, but it's catchy.
Yes. Okay.
Why so democracy?
Yes. The reason I wrote this book was because if you go back to why I got interested in economics, and I said that was a book which tried to explain very difficult concepts into kind of easy day-to-day issues, right? This is exactly what I try to do for politics. So I think a lot of people are taking much more interest in politics nowadays. We hear the word democracy being used many times. I think half the country thinks we're already in a democracy. The other half of the country thinks that we're not there yet. So I think before we can even have this debate, we need to first figure out what do we mean by democracy, right? And it's not a black or white concept. It's also like a scale from 0 to 1. So that's kind of the intention of this book. And I have to say I'm not the best person at coming up with names. So the Bokor, the editor, right? I think the word for it, helped me come up with this name. And initially I had to say I had a bit of it's kind of my pet peeve that because it's not grammatically correct, I feel that I'm not too comfortable with it. But I went with it anyway because I think they try to play on the word kind of why so serious from the Joker as well. So why so crazy about democracy?
Why so democratic?
Yes, why so democratic? What's good about it, right? And I always encourage people to ask why. I think that's probably the most powerful word you can say to someone. Is just ask like why.
I like the name. I think it encourages people to ask.
If you never ask why something that exists, you can't really start assessing the need to change it.
Okay. How would you define your political ideology?
It's very hard to encapsulate in one word, right? I think for me, I'm going to go with two words. One is I'm a liberal. Liberal basically means that you believe that people should be free to do whatever they want, provided they don't cause harm to other people. So for me, liberal in Thailand translates into liberal politically, which means we have a democracy for people to determine for themselves who they want to be in government. It means liberal economically, which means that you can do whatever career you want. If you set up a business, you should be allowed to do it. You should be able to compete with big businesses. And you're liberal socially, which means things like same-sex marriage, things like abolishing conscription, in the sense that you can choose whoever you want to love, you can choose what career you want to do. So for me, one is liberal. But the other word I like at the moment is the word progressive. For me, progressive is, it has an element of trying to predict what problems will come in the future and solving it today, right? So things like the environment, like we talk about climate change. We don't see the effects of it too much yet, but we know it's coming, so we should solve it today. So there's an element of predicting the future, but there's also an element of compromise, right? It means that if you want to progress, you need to work together with people who have very different opinions to you. Otherwise, it's very hard for society as a whole to progress. So I would say I'm a liberal and a progressive.
What 3 words best describe Thai society today?
Could be better.
Better.
Could be better. Should be better.
Should be
Yeah.
better.
The reason I say should instead of could, or the reason I switch, is because I feel that Thailand has a lot of very good assets. Right? We have a lot of creative people. I mean, I look at Thai advertisements, and I think we're so much more creative than the other countries,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And creativity is such an important skill going into the future because it's one area where you expect humans to be better than robots and technology, right? We have a lot of beautiful beaches and mountains. I think we have a very endearing culture of friendliness. I think the service mind that Thai people have is much better than any other country that I've been to. So we have all these great stuff, right? But yet we are not able to kind of leapfrog into a high income nation, both economically. We're not able to leapfrog into a full democracy politically. I feel that people are still constrained by certain restrictions in Thailand that doesn't allow themselves to be free or enjoy the freedom. So yeah, I mean, should be better.
I love like listening to you, and you sound eloquent when you speak, and I love that.
Thank you very much.
I mean, listening to you teaches me so many things. You know what I mean? I learned a word from you the other day. What was it? Abysmal. You used the word abysmal in one of your interviews.
Yes.
And I was like, "Ooh, that's a great word right there."
Yes, abysmal.
Abysmal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think selecting words to use is always an interesting exercise for me. One thing I noticed is that there are a lot of words in Thai that don't exist in English. And
Such as
เกรงใจ
oh yes.
I really don't know what English word. I've been trying to figure
Well,
this out.
if you look up the word เกรงใจในภาษาไทยนะฮะ the word considerate will come up. However, the word considerate in English is not similar
Yeah, it's-
to เกรงใจ right? ไอติมใช้ considerate ยังไง
Yeah, so considerate is thinking about other people's feelings. Alright, so let's say before you say something, let's say you give feedback to your colleague about their work. If you're considerate, you might realize that, oh, they've just gone through a very difficult personal time. So you don't say something that's too direct.
อันนั้นคือมันเป็นการเกรงใจที่เราคิดถึงคนอื่นใช่ไหมฮะ แต่ว่าถ้าเป็นแบบเกรงใจของไทยเนี่ยมันจะเป็นโมเมนต์ที่แบบว่าแบบเป็นแบบเนี้ยที่ฝรั่งจะไม่เก็ตคือสมมติเราบอกว่าแบบเฮ้ยเธอไปกับแฟนเธอเลยแล้วเพื่อนก็ถามว่า why don't you come with us and then you say no you go I'm เกรงใจอ่ะเขาก็แบบต้องแบบมาเหอะว่า come with us no you go no ไม่เอา I'm เกรงใจ and then you know that person asks you again like come with us ก็ได้
Yeah, and it never ends. I actually had this exact moment when I was in my first year at secondary school because I had a best friend who lived quite near the airport. So whenever there was a school break, he would go home, right? And his parents would come and pick him up. And his parents would always offer to kind of give me a ride to the airport. And I would always kind of be inclined to reject that offer. เพราะว่าเกรงใจ
Yeah.
But I don't know how to express it. I'm just like, oh, it's okay. And I don't know how to express my feelings to my friend's parents. So yeah, I think that it's beautiful how actually language shapes our culture as well. I think the reason that we have the word เกรงใจ and maybe the English language doesn't have it is because it's something very unique to Thai culture.
And it allows you to share. It allows you to ask questions again. ถูกไหม For you can try to explain to them what it means.
Yep.
And you know they'll be confused, but at least you have something to talk about.
But it works the other way as well because there's an English word which I can't find a Thai word for,
which is
meritocracy.
Ooh, what is that?
So meritocracy it sounds difficult, but it basically means that you give opportunities to people based on their talents alone and only their talents. So based on their capabilities, not based on who they are, not based on their gender, not based on their financial status. So a meritocratic system is an idea where every position in this society, be it like ministerial position, be it positions in a certain company, are given to the people who have the best ability to perform that role. So it's almost the opposite of what Thai people would say ระบบอุปถัมภ์ where positions are given based on who they are rather than what they know. Right? And I can't find a Thai word for it, for meritocracy, which I think is a very sad indication of where we are at in terms of the system in Thailand.
Yes. You ready for more?
Yes.
Now you have to be quick, okay?
Okay.
และนี่คือ Speedy Quiz. Okay.
Speedy quiz.
Speedy Quiz. clever or dashingly handsome
Depends on the context.
The first thing you notice about a pretty girl
Their face,
okay a nickname given to you by your friends
not really any. I think ice cream is already a bad nickname.
the craziest thing you've ever done in public
I actually went into a girl's bathroom once, but what was more embarrassing was that I then bumped into a friend of mine. This was like 10 years ago, who was a girl, and I said, "Oh, nice to see you." Completely forgetting that I was in a girl's bathroom. It was very dark. It was at night. It was our camping trip. Yeah.
your go-to chant at a football match
I think it's singing along to, well, not singing along, but humming along to "You'll Never Walk Alone."
okay the Facebook status that would best describe your life right now
Excited about a new beginning.
okay let's go for another quick break okay เรายังไม่จบแต่ว่าตอนนี้คุณจะต้องไปmonkeying around ก่อนที่เราจะไปเบรกกันแล้วช่วงหน้ามาต่อกัน stay put yeah
level playing field
level playing field
level playing field
ความเท่าเทียมปะคะ ความเท่าเทียมกันยุติธรรมว่าแบบใครๆก็เข้ามาเล่นได้มีสิทธิ์มีเสียงเหมือนกัน
การที่คนเราเนี่ยมีโอกาสเท่าเทียมกันค่ะ
ใครๆก็มาได้มาสนามเด็กเล่นได้ไม่ว่าจะแบบอายุช่วงไหนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะก็คือเป็นความแบบประมาณว่าเท่าเทียมกันใครๆก็มาเล่นได้อะไรประมาณเนี้ย
all right we're back yeah you think sorry you think you're good at reading people
I think I have to be better at it, given the job that I want to do, which is in politics, right? I don't think I'm that good at it yet.
no choose 3 words to describe me read me
Energetic, articulate, friendly. I'd say friendly.
okay
I feel very much at home here. It's been very different to all the other interviews that I've had.
Really?
And not just because it's in English, but because it's so much. I think I know it's a more comfortable environment.
okay
I feel safer.
we're happy you're happy okay is it true that you had to force yourself to speak Thai when you first came back from the UK
Yeah, so I think, I mean, it's not that I can't speak Thai because I always communicate to my parents in Thai all the time, to my friends in Thailand in Thai. But I think as someone who study abroad, you always have that tendency to switch between English and Thai interchangeably.
and it's tricky พี่รู้สึกว่าใครที่กำลังมีปัญหานี้อยู่นะ you're not alone say you say สมมติ you're speaking English right and then someone asks you a random question in Thai and then your brain goes อะไรวะ
Yes.
you're not alone บอก
Yes.
ใช่ไหม you're not
It
alone
happens all the time.
it happens to all of us okay
So yeah, so I think for me, because I know that if I want to have a career in politics, it's very important to make sure that we can communicate to all 70 million people in the country. And not everyone can speak English. So you have to communicate purely in Thai, right? 100% Thai, no kind of English word in between. So I kind of force myself a little bit, self-discipline to just always speak in 100% Thai, right? And I think what was more difficult was actually typing. Speaking was not bad, but typing, because it's not just knowing how to spell. I mean, that's not a problem, but kind of being quick at typing Thai is not easy. There are a lot of alphabets, right, compared to English. So it took me quite a while to be quick at it. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to write this book. So I'm glad I forced myself to do it back then.
yeah good would you define yourself as a serious person
If serious, you mean jing jang in Thai, then I think so. Because I think if I start doing something, I always put 100% in. Whether it's kind of my politics work, whether it's my book, whether it's my other areas of work, whether it's just a football match.
or love
Oh, yes, or love. So I think everything I do, I put in 100%. And I think that's probably why people take me as being quite jing jang. But having said that, I remember I was working with this, who is now my best friend from back when I was at at management consulting. And she said she kind of like heard of me before, saw a few interviews before we started working together. And she was very surprised at how like unserious I was and how like raisara I was. So yeah, so I take that as a compliment.
So you can be bonkers.
Yes, I can be bonkers. And even there was a person at my previous work as well that said before he knew me, he assumed that if he wanted to talk to me, he would have to go and read up on The Economist, figure out what was going on, the Spanish economy, kind of summarize it and say, hey, I think about, you know, the interest rate on that, you know, in the European Central Bank has gone down. Like, how do you think that's going to affect?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk to you at first.
Okay.
When Ja-e told me that, Loukgolf, we have to talk to Itim, and I was like, oh, do I have to talk about politics now? Do I have to sound smart? And what do I have to read, you know, more books before I talk to him? And then I was quite nervous actually. I think you were supposed to be on the show last year, right? I was nervous. You made me nervous.
I'm so sorry.
Thinking about you last year, okay, made me nervous, and I was like. แล้วตอนนั้นมันคือแบบไม่รู้จะคุยอะไรกับไอติมเลยอ่ะ but you couldn't turn up. Tell us what happened.
Oh yes, things I can and cannot tell. But back then I was a conscript, right? So I was on my 6-month national service.
Yes.
It was at the latter stage, which meant that I think every other weekend, so every fortnight, you would get a break on Saturday and Sunday to go home, right? But on that particular fortnight, when I was scheduled to come here for an interview, I was suddenly called back into the camp for an emergency assignment, right? And I think, that's nothing you can say no. You can't say no to that.
I was, can I say, I was relieved. I was like, whoo! He can't come. เสียงสูงเลย He can't come. No, that is not true. I'm happy you're here. Seriously.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so happy. But at least, you know, I had more time to study you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I don't know why I give off that perception that I'm like, do people think that like on weekends I spend time reading the Constitution?
They do.
I don't know why that is.
คือภาพที่เห็นคือแบบ you walk around with books, like.
Yeah, I don't know how to correct that.
Can't be helped.
I guess this show is.
Can't be helped. Okay. Do we have to talk about football as well? Is that your passion?
That's my main sources of stress and also my main source of releasing stress.
Okay. We found some pictures. Can we quickly talk about these pictures?
Okay. So this picture is on the day of my last final exam. So Oxford has this very, I don't know if it's good or bad, depends on how you like it, but normally in Thai universities, you would take exams kind of every couple of months, right? You would accumulate your grades so that by the final year, your final exam doesn't matter too much. In Oxford, it's all or nothing. So you have your 8 exams, 3 hours each, in your final 2 weeks that determine 100% of your grades.
Whoa.
So the good thing was that meant that I spent the first 2 years basically not really studying and just enjoying life. But it meant that my last year was like super stressful. And this was to celebrate the final exam. And you see the flower on my shirt.
Yes.
There are 3 different colored flowers.
Yes.
You wear white for your first exam, you wear pink for your every other exam in between, and you wear red for your final exam.
Okay.
So that when you leave the exam hall, your friends and people around know that you've just finished your final exam, so they have a reason to just throw stuff at you.
And what is that on your head?
That's an eggshell.
ไข่เหรอเปลือกไข่เหรอ
Yes, that was the work of one of my best friends. But this is how we celebrate. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't care at all how many eggshells were being thrown at me.
Yeah.
It was just a big relief.
Oh, and you love eggs.
Yes.
Right? You eat. Is it true that you eat simply? You love eggs?
Yeah. The biggest question that I struggle with every day is what do you want to eat?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because I went to a boarding school when I was at secondary school, which meant that you have to eat whatever is given, right? So you don't have a lot of choice. So I think since then I've been a very kind of easy eater. I don't know if that's the correct word, but it meant
I like it. It's a word, I think.
Yeah, easy
it can
eater.
be a word, you know. Make it a word.
Simple
yeah.
eater, yeah.
Yeah.
So it meant that I'm very much happy with just rice and kapao mu.
Just that.
Yeah, and 2 fried eggs.
Okay.
So yeah, and sometimes if I just have the same thing over and over again at my house.
Okay. Next picture. Ooh.
Oh, this is interesting. So this was when I was doing my national service. In the final 3 months, we were given different posts. but one of my kind of additional posts that I was given was to actually teach English. So this was me teaching English to the other conscripts,
I see.
which was very challenging because they were most of them would come to this kind of session after a really long, tiring day of work.
They were knackered.
Yes, they were knackered. Yes, so their willingness to learn English was not very high. But at least I tried to kind of, this was me handing out like a few keywords. And what I try to do is to make sure that I only teach them sentences that they would have to speak every day, right? So I wouldn't teach them based on kind of the national curriculum or anything like that. Just thinking about Thai sentences they use every day. Whether it's like, oh, can I go to the toilet? Whether it's like, can I take leave to go see my family? And use that as a way for them to kind of to gauge their interest.
I need the loo. Something
I
like
need the
that.
loo, yes. Oh, that's a word I haven't heard for so long. There are a few weird words that I only use in kind of British English. Right?
There are words that are hardly used anywhere else,
Yep.
I think.
Apart from in Britain, right?
Yeah, like peckish, for example.
Yes, package. That means hungry, right?
Like slightly hungry.
Yeah.
Knackered. Well, we just, use the word knackered.
There's another word which got me really confused.
Which
the word is fit.
Fit.
If you say someone is fit, normally you would be, oh, someone like exercises a lot.
Yeah.
But in UK, it's a slang similar to the word hot. So if someone is like good looking, attractive, you use, oh, like she or he is very fit.
Okay, and that is all actually. Let's go for a quick break. เดี๋ยวช่วงหน้าเรามา learn something กันจ้า Yeah. All right, we're back, everyone. I think has been trying to convince me to love football. You can't force, you can't force me to love.
I'm a liberal, so I'm not going to force you.
No, yeah, thank you. Don't force me to love football. I don't hate it, but I was forced to love football. That is why I hate it.
Okay.
My dad forced me to play football. พี่จำได้เลยไม่ได้อะไรนะคือมันเป็นช่วงที่แบบ he wanted to me basically he wanted me to be like more masculine more whatever okay and so he forced me to play football yeah
I was forced to play the piano. So now I never touch the piano ever again.
see yeah I mean the result would have been different if he hadn't forced me to play football, I think.
Okay.
No? All right, now, what is this song about, please? แรงมากคือเลือกเพลงทีมตัวเองมาเลย So what is this song about?
So this song is the theme song for Liverpool Football Club, which
Yes.
is the club I support. And I think for every Liverpool fan out there, every time you hear this song, it's almost like it just wakes something in you.
Okay.
And because Liverpool are very well known for coming back from a very disadvantaged position, so being 3-0 down and then coming back. And then most of the time it starts with the fans start singing this song. So very famously in 2005, we were 3-0 down in the final of a very important competition. And everyone has lost hope. But then the fans in the stadium in Turkey started singing this song. And I think it really woke the team up and we managed to come back from 3-0 down to win.
Okay.
So this is a very magical song for all Liverpool fans out there.
โอเคและช่วงลิเวอร์พูลกับไอติมวันนี้นะคะ ก็สนับสนุนโดยสโมสรลิเวอร์พูลค่ะ เอาเลยค่ะ แล้วพี่ออกเลยนะคะ เอาเลยแปลเลย The stage is yours. Alright, no. I'm gonna help you translate this song.
Yep.
You will never walk alone. Okay, let's hear it then.
When you walk
See, you get this reaction.
through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden
You sing normally.
I got 0 singing when I was a kid.
You got what?
I got 0 out of 20. A lot of my friends tried to encourage me to go on this show called I Can See Your Voice. I was asked to lip sync during our singing competition.
Through the wind
พี่นิวไป sing along
Walk
on through the rain
for your dreams be tossed
เพิ่งเถิมนี่ขนาดแฟนแมนยูนะครับ
yeah
Walk on
แล้วคนที่ what about people who support the other teams
There's not much to sing about at the moment
in your heart
ข้อนี้ดีมาก
and you'll never
yeah alright
So the song is called You'll Never Walk Alone which in Thai means คุณจะไม่เดินอย่างเดียวได้
งั้นเดี๋ยวพี่อ่านแล้วไอ้ทีมแปลเลยนะ when you walk through a storm
เวลาคุณเดินผ่านพายุ
hold your head up high
ยกหัวขึ้นไว้ ผมไม่แน่ใจว่าภาษาไทย
เหมือนอย่างนี้นี่ไหมเหมือนเดินผ่านพายุแล้วก็แบบว่า
ยืดอกยืดอกอย่างภูมิใจ
ช็อตไว้ลูก
ใช่ครับ
ถ้าเป็นภาษากระเทยหน่อยช็อตไว้กับลูกช็อตไว้ลูกได้ปะ
ประมาณนั้นครับ
ทำไมอ่ะนักบอลได้ช็อตลูก
อย่าเหมือนกับอย่าหัวตก
ช็อตไว้พี่จะแปลอย่างนี้แต่พี่ไม่รู้แหละโอเค and don't be afraid of the dark
อย่ากลัวความมืด
okay at the end of the storm
เพราะพอพายุผ่านไป
there's a golden sky
จะมีท้องฟ้าสีทอง
woohoo and the sweet silver song of the lark
ความจริงเนี่ยผมไม่แน่ใจ
นก
คือนกใช่ไหมครับ
นก
ล้างภาษาไทยคืออะไร
นกลาพูดเลย
ผมพยายาม
อย่ามาคุยเรื่องนกลาก็คือนกลานกหน้าเราท้องดำหรือเปล่าเฮ้ยไม่ได้ต้องหาอย่างเราจะI think it's my responsibility to teach ลาก็คือนกลาก็ไม่รู้ว่าน
กกระจาบฝนครับเพราะฉะนั้นก็มีเสียงร้องเพลงอันไพเราะของนกกระจาบฝนเห็นไหมครับพอแปลภาษาไทยบางทีมันไม่ได้เลยไม่เพราะแล้ว
walk on through the wind
ก็เดินผ่าลมนะครับ
walk on through the rain
เดินผ่าสายฝน
though เนี่ยเป็นการฝึกศัพท์ที่ดีนะเห็นไหม through นี่คือ through แต่นี่คือ though your dreams เนี่ยดูดิตรงนี้มันเป็น though ละ though your dreams be tossed and blown
though คือถึงแม้ใช่ไหมครับถึงแม้ว่าความฝันคุณจะถูกโยนไปรอบๆ
โยน
นะครับ
เคว้งทิ้งไป
เคว้งทิ้งไปใช่
คุณก็ทำไม walk on
เดินต่อไป
with hope in your heart
ด้วยความหวังในหัวใจครับ
นี่ท่อนนี้เศร้าเหมือนกันนะเกี่ยวกับ
เศร้าครับรอมานานมากครับกว่าจะได้
This is really sad ท่อนนี้คือแบบเนี้ย though your dreams be tossed and blown ก็ walk on with hope in your heart
ด้วยความหวังในหัวใจนะครับ
and you will never walk alone
และคุณจะไม่เดินอย่างเดียวได้
Okay it's such a meaningful song though I mean it's such a meaningful song don't you think
very emotional song
it's for everyone out there who is struggling
yes
Yep, I would say it's for people out there who are struggling. Okay, you're not struggling alone. Okay, I got your back. ตอนนี้เราไปเล่นเกมกันดีกว่านะคะสักหน่อย Alright, now we're gonna play Give Me a Clue. ธีมวันนี้ category วันนี้เป็นเรื่องราวของ politicians. Okay, politicians from around the world.
okay
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go!
American president who freed slavery
hang on. Lincoln?
Yes.
Yes. Right? Abraham.
Abraham Lincoln, yes.
Lincoln, yes.
one of the greatest Chinese leaders is a Thai word for drunk
Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong.
first US president
Wow.
surname is the same as the capital city
What? George Washington? Right?
most famous Burmese politician
Aung San Suu Kyi, no?
our current prime minister
คุณประยุทธ์จันทร์โอชาค่ะ
recent UK prime minister who was a woman
Theresa May.
North Korea leader
Kim Jong Un.
yes
This game doesn't just test his knowledge, test ด้วยเนี่ย This is tricky this
A
is
very a current Canadian Prime Minister. Very young.
Justin what's his surname how to pronounce his surname Justin
Trudeau.
yeah something French yes
The guy who caused the Second World War. Austrian guy.
Adolf Hitler
Yes. U.S. candidate, presidential candidate who lost to Donald
Hillary
Trump.
Clinton
Current prime U.S. president. Make America
Donald
great again.
Trump
South African politician who worked on stopping segregation.
Mandela
Yes.
yes บอกตรงๆนะคะว่าวิชาสังคมก็ตั้งใจเรียนบ้าง ต่อให้จะเป็นแบบวิทยาศาสตร์ตั้งใจจะได้มีอนาคต Right. Thank you so much, okay, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. Before we say goodbye, you have anything to tell your fans?
I think just tips on learning English, right? I think the two golden rules that I always use when I learn English. One is like don't worry too much about knowing the language. Worry about using the language, which means that don't worry about spelling. Don't worry too much about pronunciation. As long as you can communicate, it's fine. And I think the one thing that Thai people are most scared of is accents. And I tell you right now, there's no correct accent. English is spoken by every country in the world. Even in the UK, there are like 30 different accents. So there's no like British accent to say.
Yes.
So don't worry about that. And then I think number two is try and find like things that you like and then intertwine English into it. So for example, I grew up watching football. So I just watch English commentary. If you play video games, maybe do the English version of it. If you enjoy watching movies, watch it in English or at least English subtitles. So then it doesn't feel like you're forced to learn English. It just comes a bit more natural.
You learn because you want to learn.
Yeah, and it's just natural to your everyday life.
Okay. And that is all for today กลับมาเจอกันได้ใหม่นะคุณผู้ชมนะฮะกับรายการลูกกอล์ฟซิงลิชูมนะสัปดาห์หน้าทางจิ๋ว25วันนี้ทางรายการต้องขอบคุณน้องไอติมอีกครั้งหนึ่งวันนี้ Have a fabulous day สวัสดีค่ะ Bye Okay, and that is all actually do we still have time มาตาจริงๆมาตาบอกว่าเวลาเราหมดตั้งแต่เบรกแรกแล้ว จริงๆคนนี้คุยเยอะมาก We've been talking for hours มาตาว่าตั้งแต่เบรกแรกอ่ะได้ไปแล้วแบบ4เทป
Okay. So feel free to use that.